So today's menu is an Italian classic, a Bolognese sauce. My mom and I, instead of adding water to the sauce as the sauce cooks down over and over and over, slowly, we add basically Parmigiano Reggiano tea. We take water or chicken stock, 4 to 6 cups, as if you were making risotto, and we put a huge chunk of Parmigiano rind in that warm liquid. And we use this instead of just adding water to the pot. We use this cheesy, delicious, nutty, flavored liquid to keep the pot moist as it continues to cook down. You're going to start by cooking over moderate heat in a big Dutch oven. And I start with 1 celery, 1 carrot, 1 onion, fine chop. In my family, my mother's Sicilian, we rarely cook anything without garlic. We constantly smell like garlic. It comes out of our pores. It is our family perfume. It is not in the classic recipe. The classic recipe is carrot, celery, onion. We put garlic, period. Whenever we cook with onion, we like the flavor of bay. We throw in 1 bay leaf. And I like grassy parsley in any slow cooking sauce. So parsley stems keep it grassy. I add the meat, 1 pound for a whole pound to a pound and a half of pasta. Very little meat in the sauce. I brown the meat very lightly, and we use all ground beef, or sometimes ground beef with a little bit of veal. And then we just stir this until it loses its color, until it loses the red color. Then you're ready to start adding your liquids. The first liquid we add is 1 cup of whole milk. You then let that cook out completely. It has to absorb completely before you add the next layer of flavor and the next liquid. We're gonna add acidity to the pot I have cooking in the back. When we come back, we'll pick up there. So we're making proper Bolognese sauce today. This is what the pot will look like once the 1 cup of whole milk is absorbed into the lightly browned beef with the carrot, celery, onion, garlic in our family recipe, bay, and parsley stems. Now we're going to add the acidity in the sauce to balance the buttery flavor of the milk being absorbed into the sauce. We're gonna add about 1 cup of good white wine. So I'm gonna add a little nutmeg to the pan as well. Now we're ready to add 2 cups of fresh peeled chopped tomato in the summer when the tomatoes are delicious, or 1 small can, about 2 cups, 15 ounces of tomato to our sauce. Then we bring this up to a bubble, and then you drop the heat as low as the stove will possibly go. Then this will cook for 4 hours, minimum. That's why we use this warm broth over here that I have steeping with our Parmigiano Reggiano. We keep that to moisten the pot whenever the pot gets dry. So when we're going to cook the pasta, in my family, we like an egg pasta. It's weird because it's kind of a light, quick cooking thing to go with something that's, pretty heavy. If you're cooking dry pasta, undercook it by at least 1 minute. Why? Because there's a thing called carryover cooking. This will continue to cook when you marry the pasta to the sauce. I'm going to cook this and marry it with this sauce when we come back, right after this. So guys, we're lifting out with our spider, our nice undercooked egg pasta to toss with our Bolognese. In the bottom of the hot pot, I have a few tablespoons of butter melting. And this is what I was talking about with the carryover cooking. You see, you mix the sauce vigorously with the pasta and the fats, the olive oil and or the butter. And if it starts to get too tight, if it feels like it's drying out at all, you add some more of that hot, starchy water. My mama would always sprinkle in a little bit of Parmigiano or Pecorino, whichever we were using in the dish. And then you take the rest of the meat sauce, the chunky meat sauce, you pop that on top. Oh, ridiculous. My mother says when something's delicious, it's disgusting. So if I make her dinner and she doesn't call me, or if I've made her dinners ahead and then I've gone back to the city or something, if she doesn't call and say it's disgusting, I call her and I say it wasn't disgusting. My mama would definitely call this meal disgusting. Then you take the pretty shaved Parmigiano and put it up on top, and you send it to the table.